Hello and welcome back to Kitchen Adventures with Naomi. I'm your host Naomi, local realtor in Central Arizona. Throw that out there. Today we are going to make, technically they are called Keto pull apart Clover rolls. But the first time I tried to do that recipe that way, the instructions called for, it took forever. It was difficult. It kind of seemed pointless. To go to all this extra effort. I mean, they looked pretty, but for me, that's just too much effort just to look pretty if it tastes good another way. So I've been dinking around with the little recipe, trying different ways to make it. I've made it into regular rolls. I've made it into hamburger buns. I've made it into like a cheese loaf. And today I'm actually making it into pizza crusts. So making it this way was inspired by my mother-in-law. I shared this recipe with her and she's kind of run with it. And this is another one that I also found on Pinterest. I don't remember who the author of it was, so I will put it in the descriptions below once I find out. So here is a picture of all the ingredients I'll be using today. Okay, so those are the ingredients, and I've already measured out the almond flour in here. So the last time we made, whatever it was we made last time, where we had to melt the mozzarella cheese and we coated it with the almond flour and all that, that worked out really well. And it's the same idea with this recipe as it was with whatever that other recipe was. I don't remember what it was I made. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to try that. I haven't tried it this way exactly in the past, so we're gonna experiment. We're gonna see how it works. So yeah, so I've got the flour in here, and it's gonna call for 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm doubling the recipe, so I'm gonna put in 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, so I got those in there, and I'm taking my handy dandy little mixer spoon. You know how I do. We're just gonna kind of mix the baking powder in there with the flour, and then it calls for so now you have to melt the mozzarella cheese and the cream cheese. So you melt the 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese with the 2 ounces of cream cheese. Again, I'm doubling it, so I'll be putting in 3 cups of mozzarella cheese and 4 ounces of cream cheese. So I'm going to be putting those in here, and I'll kind of chop up the cream cheese a little bit, just so it's not all just like in one giant clump. And then I'm going to mix it all up with the flour. Okay, so I've got the cream cheese in there, and then I'm pouring in my 3 cups of cheese. Hopefully the bowl will be big enough, or my little Tupperware, because I don't have any big microwave safe bowls. So then we're just gonna get down and dirty, because you know that's what we do. You want to make sure that the cheese, like last time, is coated. Oops, cheese overboard. That the cheese is coated with the almond flour. That seemed to work out really well for when I needed to mix it with whatever the dough I was making before. Man, I wish I could remember what I made last time. I don't know. Okay, so now, don't worry, I did clean my counters. You should always clean your counters prior to starting, because you never know when you're gonna make a mess. And you wanna make sure you can just pick it up and throw it in here. So clean your counters, people. Clean kitchen is the best way to cook. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. All right, it looks a mess, but this is my flour, my mozzarella cheese, my cream cheese, and my baking powder. So I'm gonna put it in the microwave for probably about 1.5 to 2 minutes with 30-second increments. So 30 seconds, take it out, stir it, put it back in, 30 seconds again, take it out, stir it until it's been in there for about a minute and a half. Okay, so I've cooked it for a minute and a half, 30-second increments, so it sticks together a little bit better. Now I'm gonna put in, it calls for 2 eggs, I'm doubling it, so I'm putting in 4 eggs, just plopping it right down in here. No, I can't do anything fancy like do it one-handed or anything like that. No, I can't. I'm sorry. Disappointment, I know. But it is what it is. At least I can crack the egg without getting shell in there. 99% of the time. That's a win in my book. So, okay. Alright, so I'm going to go rinse off. Well, actually, no. So now that I've got the eggs in here, I'm going to kind of mix it in with my hands. The batter, dough, whatever you want to call it, might be a little warm, so be careful. It shouldn't be too awful bad because it's only been in there for a minute and a half, but I don't want y'all getting mad at me because I didn't warn you that it might be a little warm. Okay, so now we've kind of got it all squished in there into a ball. Okay, then we are going, I feel like that's too watery. You know, I don't trust my instincts often enough. So I'm going to add some more flour. Let me pause while I wash off this goopy egg and try not to get egg on my... I remember what it was. The other dough that I was making, it was for my pigs in a blanket. That's what it was. Okay, so I'm adding garlic straight into here. I've already added a little bit of flour. I'm going to add garlic just because it's garlic and it's good. Ooh, I should add some. Yeah, that'll taste good in there. Okay, so I could add flavors by smell. I don't know. I'm weird. We'll do a little bit of parsley. I mean, we are making pizzas. And a little bit of oregano because oregano has a pretty strong taste. So just a little bit of oregano. Okay. Now I'm going to knead this in again and put it on my handy dandy parchment paper, which is the best thing ever. And if y'all don't use parchment paper, it's a lifesaver. Okay, so I forgot. My husband and I like 2 different kinds of pizzas. He's going to be putting yucky things like pastrami. Not a huge fan of pastrami. So we're going to make 2 different pizzas. So I just took a chunk of it. So if I was going to make a loaf of bread, like a cheesy loaf, I would just kind of take it and shape it into like a log, basically. Pat it down a little bit so it's like, you know, this thick, and then cook that in the oven. Whereas today, since we won't put that side on. Since it's just my husband and I eating, I'm not as concerned about making it super. Okay, so I poured some flour on top, and then I'm just gonna roll it out. Maybe we'll squish it out first, and then just roll it out until it's as thick or thin as you want. If you want like super thin crust pizza, roll it out thin. If you want thicker crust pizza, you know what you could do is do it a little thinner in the center and then make the edges thicker. Try that. I'm going for more of the hand tossed thickness, or the, you know, just the regular thickness. It'll get a little thicker, but not much. So don't anticipate it really rising, okay? Just keep that in mind. Let's see where we are. Well, it's a little thinner than what I was thinking, but it's my husband, he'll be fine. He likes thin crust, it's okay. So then, I've got my oven heating to 350. So I'm just gonna take this cookie sheet, set that right on there, and then just cook it. So the directions, if you're gonna make rolls, then you would cook them for about 20 minutes. I don't think this will need 20 minutes because it's a lot thinner. So I'll probably start it at about 10 minutes, but kind of keep an eye on it in between. So yeah, so I'm gonna pop that in the oven and check back in. Okay, so the first crust has been in there for about 13 minutes. So I'm gonna pull it out. I've got my second crust ready to go. Oh yeah, look at that. You can't really tell, but it's nice and golden brown. So I am going to let my husband decorate this. He said that he didn't want to be on camera. So I'm gonna stop it, let him put whatever he wants on his pizza, and then I'll show you what he makes, okay? Okay, so my husband has his all decorated, whatever you wanna call it. I'm about to do mine. I have some of this, it's fresh mozzarella cheese, so it's like the cheese balls. I don't really want the cheese balls, but I really want the olive oil sauce. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take it, and this is gonna be the sauce on my pizza today, because I just think that will be really, really yummy. My husband put this also on his pizza. And then he put some mozzarella cheese, a little bit of Parmesan and cheddar, and then put on some bacon and pepperoncinis. So for me, I have this olive oil sauce, which I'm going to put it on the crust too. So I've got it all over. Looks really good. It smells amazing. Wish y'all could smell it. So I'm going to do that, and then take mozzarella cheese and sprinkle it on. Okay, I got my cheese on, and then I'm going to sprinkle some bacon. A little bit more, because I'm that cool of a wife. Sprinkle it on. Okay. So kind of put whatever topping you want, whatever topping you like. I'm not the biggest fan of pepperoncini, so I'm not putting those on there. But I love sweet peppers. We've gone over this before when I made my eggs. So yeah, I'm gonna put sweet peppers on my pizza because that's how I roll. Plus, I mean, they're healthy for you. So it'll combat some of the cheese I'm eating. That's how it works, right? That's how it works. Okay, so let me show you. Bacon, sweet peppers, cheese, and then we got pepperoncinis and bacon here. Okay, so I think the crust is pretty well done. So all we're gonna do is just broil the top, just so we can melt and kind of cook what's on top. That's all. Okay, so I broiled it for just a couple of minutes. So it's all nice and melted. It's not really, it didn't take very long, just a few minutes. So I'm gonna cut it, let it cool off for a second, and let you know how it tastes. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. Hopefully I'm not leading y'all astray. Ooh, it's very hot. So, it's about how thick it is. Probably should cook it a little longer than I did. I cooked it for about 14 minutes. But that's very good. I did a good job. Okay. So that's how you make these keto pizza crusts. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if there's something that you want me to make, throw it in the comments and I'll see if I can find a good recipe. Thanks guys, have a good rest of your day.